Now, before we get started, we have got an amazing Discord server that you guys can join right now with around 300 like-minded Outriders that are all helping each other out, get through things and achieve things. Make sure you head down to the description, go and join the server right now. Okay then guys, what's going on? Cloudplays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are on the Technomancer and we have got the update to the Cryomancer turret build that we've been uploading over the last X amount of weeks. Now, it is not quite finished yet and we've still got a few mods that we need to add onto it, but everybody in the live streams seems to have wanted an update with where we're at and how this is currently running up. So this is a very, very strong build and one that if any Technomancer is wanting to go out for, you definitely need to go out for it. The base 2 videos that we've got so far, the version 1 and version 2, are already up on the channel, and this is the updated version with all of the updated changes that we've made to the build so far. So if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe with post notifications turned on. With that being said, let's dive into the Cryomancer turret build 3.0. So as per usual, we're going to break this down by weapons, armor, then skills, then class, and go through all the points that we need to go into through that. And actually, it's a relatively easy one. I have got 2 weapon variants for you guys that you can utilize, and you can use either or. This one right here is the messenger, although the actual skin for it is completely bloody different. The messenger is a very, very good weapon indeed, and it is one that you guys would want to use and have probably heard quite a lot about already. The messenger has some very good roles, including the dimensional rockets, and if you utilize that with Mage's Rage and Omen, utilizing a role like this is a very, very solid build for it. This is a very useful one and one that I've been really, really enjoying, and I've kind of ran all the way through this build if I'm completely honest. Although just recently we have had a bit of an alteration in weapon sorts, so what you can also use is Final Penance. Now, using Final Penance with Mage's Rage and Fortress will always give you guys an amazing damage boost, because obviously you have the anomaly power for the 10% on the crit stack, and then Fortress is 20% damage. Let's just get into that one quite quickly. On top of that, I've got Violent Rupture, which causes up to 2 million in damage within a 6-meter radius, and this is a very, very strong third mod slot. Although if you could get anything like Omen in there, then that would be the ultimate crackerjack to the end piece, you know what I mean? I think that would be really, really good for the Final Penance. But these are 2 weapons which work really, really well with this build, just because you can utilize the mods to work in its favor, and they both work on a crit damage basis. The crit damage is obviously where you're going to be gaining a lot of the boosts from your Mage's Rage, and obviously causing a load of more damage inside of those crits as well. Moving on to the armor set, though, we have got the Techmongers set 1, 2, and 3, and these are going to be the primary pieces that you guys want. The bit that we haven't quite finished yet is the gauntlets and the boots. Although the gauntlets are in decent stead, it's not exactly where I would want it to be. So looking at this, the main focus here in your main 3 attributes at the top is your status power and anomaly power as well. These are the ones that you want to be focusing on. Obviously, the factor that this is the Techmonger set, you've got anomaly power and status power with a cooldown reduction on all 3 pieces, meaning you can put down these turrets very, very frequently and you don't have to actually reutilize any of them. We've got Double Trouble and Twins as the main mods for this, with Twice as Hot, which gives you a 30% extra anomaly power damage to all enemies affected with burn. So if you're running with a Pyromancer, this is really, really helpful. If you're not, then there are other things that you can run as well, such as Euthanizer. This is going to be probably the main key factor. At the moment, I've got the Pyromancer one on because I've been running with carries on this build, but the Euthanizer will actually deal 16% more damage against enemies afflicted by Toxic, which, because we're using all 3 turrets, we're going to be gaining quite a lot of Toxic perk as well. So utilizing Euthanizer if you can get your hands on it, or something that will give you an anomaly damage boost, such as Twice as Hot running with fire. This is again something you really want to use. The reason why as well this may be quite helpful for you as a solo is if you are running Omen, it will also cause a bleed effect, but it also does cause some damage in the fire aspect as well. So moving on from there, we have got hazardous modifications and increased damage on the chest piece. Again, tactical retreat is not one that I want to be utilizing. This is not something that I really enjoy using, but I have got a hail shot there, which obviously does collaborate into some of my other stuff as well. It is a little bit frustrating, but you can use quite a lot of different ones for this second mod round. If you can get a Captain Hunter and the last piece, then it'd be all the more helpful because it would be absolutely insane damage, and that would just really, really push that elite 16% push through. So from there, we're going to be going on to the Techmonger's leg armor, and we've got improved coolant and freezing boost alongside the Virulent compound, which deals 10% more damage to elites afflicted by toxic or blight fire, and afflicted elites explode when killed, dealing 246,000 damage and spreading the status to other enemies within 5-meter radius. This is very, very useful, and if you can get a Virulent compound set of Techmonger legs, this is a massive deal, and it's a huge part of the build, as it really does help alongside the Toxic and Blightfire anomaly push. So, moving from there, we are on the gauntlets. Now, the gauntlets are a little bit ship-shapey, and this is where the build gets really, really freaking difficult, because I've been hunting for the stuff for a little while now, but on the gloves, what you are wanting is some epic geared variants. The epic variants on this is going to be really helpful, because if you do look into some of the builds for this, the Techmonger's gloves obviously has a max health, and if you look around everything else in the legendary slot bracket, it is all on max health. So what we are looking for is an anomaly, status power, and a cooldown reduction, alongside obviously everything that we've got with these. You are wanting them on these epic variants as well, and I will state now, you want those on the boots too. But this one right here that we have got a roll with power assimilation. Now this boosts your anomaly power by 98,000 for each elite present on the battlefield. Not exactly the most key one that I want to be using. There are some other ones that you can really go into. Radical therapy, arms and anomaly and stuff like that are really, really helpful. I've got the increase in assault weapon damage by 12%, which again isn't essential, but I've not got the Godroll on this set of gear yet. And we've got arms and anomaly, which critical shots increase your power and anomaly by 253,000 for 6 seconds, which obviously, because we're using Mage's Rage, it is going to give you guys the usage for crit shots. As an overall, this isn't a bad epic roll, so if you can get something similar to this, it is quite good, but essentially what you want to be focusing on is the fact that you get boosts to anomaly in any way, shape, or form via these mods, making sure that you're actually able to utilize it. And on my boots, I have currently running the Techmonger foot gear, which has got the focus discharge and the hail shot for the main turrets, and this will discharge anomaly beams from the blighted turret for 82,000 damage, and we've also got hail shot, which increases the turret's damage base on your status power, which is going to be quite high considering what we've been running throughout all of these pieces of gear. Now we have got Untamed Power for this one, but it's not really the one that we want to be running. There are loads of different variants that you can run alongside this, Toxic Piercer being one of them. It is a very, very, very good mod, but there is one mod that you guys want to be running for. And that is this one here, which is Unstoppable Force. Now this increases your anomaly power by 50% of your resistance piercing. This is a very, very good mod, and probably the only viable option for when it comes to the boots. That is just the way that it is. Again, you want this in an epic variant, and you want this with the anomaly power, cooldown reduction, and status power if you can get it. And then we have got the focus discharge, hail shots, and we're looking for an Unstoppable Force third piece. Now obviously you can utilize these mods in any way, shape, or form across the build. I know that the third slot does kind of have comparable ones depending on what piece of armor it is, but the first 2 mod slots will alter no end. So as long as you can get these to sort of mix and match, it works very well. But the epic variants are really, really difficult to get your hands on. Completely difficult. It's mental. So that's the arm set and the main weapons that we're utilizing for this build. When we look at these right here, the main skills we're using is the Blighted Turret, the Cold Snap, and the Cryo Turret. The Cold Snap is helpful just because you inflict a lot of freeze, and by doing a lot of freeze damage, it is very useful to utilize. Although if you want to and you're not feeling that you're really wanting to use that anymore, you can practically use anything else, whether it's the Blighted Rounds, or even if you want to go ahead and pop on the Tools of Destruction just to have a bit of fun. These main 2 here, these are your big key features. The third one you can kind of play around with, really. There's not a lot that you really need to input into that. Going into the class, the skill tree has not changed. The skill tree for me is working absolutely amazingly. We are running off of the bottom tree, working up towards middle and partway through top. We have got adrenalizing antenna. Activating decay skills increases your anomaly power, so we're going for anomaly power boosts, and we're going for health power boosts. Considering we are working on a basis of these turrets causing all the damage, you will sometimes take quite a bit of slap from that adds, even though they are frozen. Into the packs tree, we have split this off in a little bit of a different direction today. We've gone for the initial striker, we have gone lethal devices, and we have gone painkiller in the top tree. Now, obviously, it is quite useful to be running this, and you can deal 5% more damage to enemies for every status afflicted on them, and that is great. But this one down here, where your anomaly power is increased by 100% of your skill leech, is absolutely huge. Obviously the percentage on that you can get is all based on whatever it is that you're equipping and how you're going to boost that skill leech. It's completely up to you based on what mods you want to run. Now, obviously, there are some key factors to that you will have to change some of the mods, and it is a little bit frustrating. But every 5% of your missing health increases your weapon leech and your skill leech by 5%. So as your health does go down slightly, you will increase the skill leech, therefore increases in the anomaly power, and it just rolls in so bloody well that it just works perfectly. And rolling into the ascension points now, I am rolling in now at level 67, so we are quite a high movement for this. But I don't want you guys to be disheartened by it. You can essentially focus mainly on the top anomaly slot. Focus on the main top anomaly slot, and then we are going for long range damage and the damage against elites. Alongside that, you can go for armor piercing as well if you've managed to fill all this up and you're a higher level than I am. But your main focus right now is going to be the big anomaly slot in the top left corner, and I think that I've kind of made it clear as to why the big anomaly slot would be your most key featured. It's just one of those things. The anomaly is the biggest motive for this build, and it's something that you really need to push into. But that's all we've got time for today. This build is nearly there, and we have got probably one more version on this as soon as I can get the rest of it to drop, which is doing my absolute nutting. As you guys will know, loot right now is somewhat tedious to get your hands on, but it is what it is all the same. I thought I'd give you an update on this as a lot of people were asking for it. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe, post notifications turned on. Appreciate all your faces, but as always, until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.